You have the capacity to create harm, even death. But you also have the capacity to show compassion and empathy, which brings life. The choice to be malicious or to be loving, every action is intended and is known beforehand. Sometimes people will claim they're trying their best. Reality is, it's nowhere to be found when it comes to abuse. No one's trying their best. It's purposefully malicious, evil, simply chosen. They can redeem themselves. They can make amends. But it doesn't remove the trauma or the painful memories and nightmares. This is Dustin, your host of a Wanderer's Way podcast. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Today, we're going to speak about trauma, the effects of it, the realities of it. So, if this is going to trigger you, here's a warning now to just completely skip this episode. If you feel comfortable with listening, go ahead, because I am going to share some stories. Not too overly detailed, but I'm going to share some details that might trigger. So definitely, if it's going to be something that's going to affect you, just completely skip this episode. No issue at all. So have you ever been so exhausted that it drains the parts of your life that's supposed to be satisfying while leaving a hollow feeling inside? Most would call that a burnout from work. But what about that same burnout from trauma? Constant reliving of the pieces, the post-traumatic stress, the anger, the sadness, the nightmares, the reflections, everything. The burnout can happen with that as well. And it happens because your mind can't process the understanding of why you had to suffer the trauma as you did. The human mind sometimes just can't really make out why things happen the way they do. I know I can't. As a victim of trauma, more specific, child abuse, the trauma can really affect you in many different ways. There's the depression side. Obviously, you feel like you're worthless, not good enough. You learn self-hate because it's like, if someone loves me, why would they hit me? Why would they harm me in any way? But that's the question that we all keep asking. And as we keep asking those questions, everything kind of dies inside more. You keep having the flashbacks. You keep remembering. You keep trying to figure out what you did wrong because you literally think that you were the problem of why you were abused. And that's part of the trauma. There's a lot of things that go into it. The worst part about having this trauma is trying to fit back into society. And yeah, the lack of trust. But what about the people that just don't understand? Ones who's never gone through trauma, don't understand anything of trauma, and their life is so happy-go-lucky and perfect. That's the part you're trying to fit back into. So you go back into society and, you have a trauma breakdown. You have your PTSD kicking in, you got your sadness, your suicidal, whatever it is. All your fears. Others don't understand. And I feel that makes things worse when it's trying to have a healing from the trauma itself. So fitting in to society after trauma is one of the most difficult things. Especially after remembering everything and having constant memory flashbacks. But with all of that, as you continue on with your mind racing, your heart thumping so fast, and completely breaking all the time, you become so exhausted that every part of your life that you're supposed to be enjoying, you can't enjoy. It's a joke to you. You just look at it and you're just like, eh. It's like your favorite band that you listen to over and over on repeat. You love it. It's amazing. You listen to it to a new album every time when they come out. You go to put it in and you hear the first 5 seconds, you're just like, and you shut it off. It's like, I don't want to. And then every day after that, you're doing the same thing. And then everything else around you, you also do the same thing with. If you used to go for a walk, you no longer can leave the house. If you used to shower, you enjoy the bath, whatever, you stop doing that. You spend time with your pet. Now you can't do that. Video games, everything. Anything that you're supposed to enjoy, including your family. If you have kids, that trauma does really affect people, especially as a parent. If you have kids, it will affect your relationships with them. Sometimes some people can push through easily. Other times, some people break. And it ruins their family. And it's not their fault. How about the help that they're supposed to have? How about someone always there? It's the same thing with everything in this world. A lack of compassion and empathy. No one reaching out the hand. Nobody opening their ears to listen. Nobody just being present for them. That alone relieves a lot for trauma. But how do you get that hollow feeling away? Sometimes it's just random. You don't. Other times you can. As someone who is a victim of child abuse, someone who has dealt with PTSD, bipolar, suicide ideation, I think that's the word, severe anxiety, panic attacks, flashbacks, and nightmares all my life. It's hard. It's really not easy. Trauma really just makes a dent into your entire soul and the rest of your life. There's times when I'm good now, but before, there was rarely any good days. When there was, something always happened later on, or the next day would be like the worst day ever imaginable. But that's the problem. For me, I did everything risky. I did everything that gave me the higher risk of just killing myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I tried. I used to. But people don't understand, telling someone, grow up, be a man. Oh, that's nothing. You're tougher than that. Just stop being a pussy. Or, they ruin it. So it's hard to trust. So yeah, I isolated myself and did things on my own. Luckily, I have a cat, helped me out. But other people aren't that fortunate either. So, the point I want to make, if you know someone who has gained severe trauma from abuse of any sort, especially from relationships too, be there, be present, show them compassion, show them empathy, reach out your hand, give them your ears, be present. Not everything is about you. Meaning, just because you don't like to listen to it, you can do it once in a while. You can lend somebody your ear. You can take 5 minutes out of your day to listen to somebody else's problems. Unless you have trauma yourself and it affects you, that's understandable. But what about those of you who don't, never experienced it, and obviously never will? Why not show some compassion? Why not be there for somebody? Right there can be the key of saving someone's life. That compassion and that love, that kindness, you can save many lives. Because every time outside of you, there's someone else being rude, someone else showing hate, someone else crushing their heart more, which is a push towards death. So be the person that can save them. Be the person that shows them life is not worse than what you experienced. It can be better. Show them that there's hope for humanity. Show them there's something to live for. Give them a reason to live.